A couple days ago, I learned a very valuable lesson on the importance of being a good wingman for your friends. I'm sure you all know what a wingman is, but I'll explain it anyway for anyone that hasn't been outside. A wingman is someone that you can rely on to help get you laid. Basically, it is a friend of yours whom will vouch for you in a social situation when you're talking to a stranger that you're romantically interested in. So for example, you're at the bar and you start a conversation with someone you're interested in, but things aren't really going anywhere. You start to sweat, your ass gets a bit swampy, and it's looking like all hope is lost. And that's when the clouds part and a heavenly glow shines upon your wingman. They're the Batman to your Gotham. They're about to save you. So they scoot in on a skateboard and they just hype you up in front of the other person. They vouch for you. They make you look great. They say some shit like, "Hey Charlie, thanks for letting me borrow the Lambo yesterday. Really appreciate it. Oh, and also, those animals you saved from the shelter last week, well, they all found loving households today." And, they just say some shit that like really puts you up there. It's like, damn, this guy's fucking cool, right? That's the purpose of a wingman. I've always believed, I guess delusionally, that I was a good wingman, and it wasn't until a couple days ago I learned, man, I fucking suck at it. But not only am I a shitty wingman, I'm just a bad friend. So a couple days ago I posted this video where I was interviewing two Moist Esports athletes, Cola and Goblin. We were eating spicy food together and just really, dudes being bros. We were bonding, learning a lot about each other, and Cola told a story about the time he relied on me to wingman him, to vouch for him, in order to help his chances with a lady he was interested in. Now, this wasn't in the final cut of the video, so it's not actually in the Pain Isn't Real video. This was something that I kept in the archives because I wanted to make a very special topic just addressing it and like a public apology to Cola for this. So I'm going to play the clip now and then go into it a little bit more after the fact. So just to paint the picture in case you haven't seen the original video, you should check out the interview just to get the context, but just to sum it up, right now what you're about to see is after they had eaten the Mr. Pain hot sauce. Mr. Pain is like a 1 to 2 million Scoville hot sauce, so it's pretty fucking rough. The tagline is execute your taste buds, but it almost executed our friendship as well.
I'll get one more.
That wasn't even a lot of Mr. Pain. It's like Danny said, Mr. Pain just stops in for a second to say howdy, and then he's gone. Doesn't last long.
But at Little City, I lost early in pools, and I was mega down bad. So Aaron took a couple of candid pictures of me, and somehow some body got tagged in the Twitter conversation. Mm-hmm. And I remember going into the DM of the Moist, esports chat and asking for your vouch.
That's right, he did do that. I needed to wingman him.
So I know you said LOL all under the case, and I was tweaking. I was like, nigga, I'm dropping Moist Esports. How did you feel after I typed that?
I didn't know how to vouch for you because it'd be weird to like just type on Twitter like, yeah, this guy fucks. Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, there's like no way I could wingman for you without coming across as like some kind of weirdo. I would ruin your chances. I didn't realize how close Moist Esports was to losing one of its finest athletes, and it's entirely my fault. When he sent that message in the chat, I didn't know if he was serious or not, so I just hit him with a lol, which, looking back on it now, my god, what an asshole. I'm not a big texter. I don't really go on Discord. I don't really text much. I just don't really text in general. So I guess, for me, I just didn't think anything of it. But now looking back on it, I could totally see why receiving that would be like me spitting in your face and slapping you. Like, how heartless. If I was reaching out to my wingman, like, come on, help me out here, and all he hit me with was a lol, I would be pissed. I would actually be super mad. And it just didn't even register with me. It really didn't. And I feel so fucking bad for it. I really do. Which is why I'm making a solemn vow to be a better wingman now. I'm going to turn this shit into a Darman video. YouTuber is a horrible wingman, regrets it, but then changes for the better. So from now on, I will be the ultimate fucking wingman. I'll vouch for anyone, anytime. I'll have like a goddamn hotline set up like the Powerpuff Girls where they, my players can just call me like, ring the hotline. I'll pick it up. Charlie, we need you to vouch. I'm on it. He fucks. And you know who else fucks? everyone who comes by my Twitch streams at twitch.tv/moistcritical. I stream every day, and you're guaranteed to get laid if you just stop in a few times. So I'm probably streaming right now as you're watching this video. I'll put a link in the description. But anyway, hopefully this is helpful to anyone out there that doesn't realize how important it is to be a good wingman, and more importantly, a good friend. You know, all of my wingmen when I was in college, they weren't great. Like, I was always disappointed with, like, how they'd wingman for me. It was always, like, counterintuitive. I felt like we were competing more so than we were helping each other. Because I remember one time, a buddy of mine and I were at the bar, and I was talking to a lady I was interested in. And my friend came over, and I was expecting a wingman. Like, hey, this guy's great. You should see him build Legos. He does it in record time. It's incredible. Have you seen his KD ratio on fucking Fortnite? You know, anything, really. But he comes over and he's like, oh, this guy, Charlie, he's great at drinking. Like, watch this. Let's do a chugging contest. And I used to be a pretty big drinker, and I was pretty good at chugging. But the guy who challenged me, my friend, is a man that can open his entire fucking throat like some kind of mutant and just immediately drink anything. Kind of like those viral videos you used to see where people would take a water bottle and stuff it together and they'd immediately be gone. He could do that. So he challenged me to this chugging contest and beat my ass in front of them. What he did is he came over and didn't wingman me. He established that he was the alpha in front of her. I guess was his thought process. I don't really know. But he's like the fastest hot dog shooter in the West, but without hot dogs. It made me so upset. Like, I didn't have good wingmen. And yet, I have now become what I once hated without noticing. So I think it was very important that Cola shared this story with me so that way I can improve for the better. And hopefully you all now understand just how important it is to just be there for your friends when they need it, really, goddammit. I still feel awful about it. But anyway, I just wanted to share this. That's about it. See ya. What's up, everybody? It's Critical. For years, I've gotten emails asking me to tell more stories, so that's what I'm gonna do tonight. Cozy on up, pop a squat down by the fireplace, and listen to my nipples. Ashamedly, this tale isn't that old. It happened last year. After my long-term relationship ended, I had devolved into a socially inept husk. I had completely forgotten how to flirt or talk to females in a romantic way. It was bad. Every time I even tried to talk to a girl, I sounded like a troglodyte ODing on sleeping pills, and God forbid a girl ever made the mistake of starting a conversation with me. They would soon find out that I was fundamentally fluent in aphasia. The shit that was coming out of my mouth was just unintelligible. It was downright disrespectful to humanity how bad I was at flirting. But there's one night in particular that I still lose sleep over when I think back on. One event that to this day, when I'm about to ejaculate, makes my penis tingle in an unpleasant way. It was the very first weekend after my breakup, and I was going to a bar with my friends. I was going out with the intent of just drinking and having a good time and not worrying about anything. But my friend's sister insisted she wingman me that night, and I knew deep down in my soul that it would be a fucking train wreck. The night was darker than usual, the moon tucked away behind the clouds as if trying to cover its eyes and shield itself from the awkwardness that was about to unfold at this poor little bar. As if the moon knew just how shitty this experiment was going to turn out. But anyways, in my friend's sister's defense, she was an outstanding wingman, but the odds were stacked against her because she was trying to wingman a fucking sinking ship of social skills. So she was taking me to meet everyone at the bar. We met a ton of people. She was just dragging me along like I was her suitcase, except this suitcase wasn't filled with clothes or toiletries. It was just filled with awkwardness. And nothing too noteworthy happened. I managed to meet all of these new people without shitting my britches, which was a Herculean task, so that's an accomplishment that I'm very proud of. But then the very last two people we met will forever be etched into my memory. It was two attractive women, just casually drinking at one of the tables by the bar, as the bar was clearing out since it was getting late. The weatherman may have predicted cloudy with moderate humidity, but what he couldn't predict, what no one could have predicted, was the storm of awkwardness that was about to befall the area. My friend approached them the same as she had all the others, and as I trailed behind her, I could feel something deep inside of me pulling me, as if a future version of myself was trying to yank me away from the situation so I wouldn't have this memory. But alas, I disregarded the feeling and continued forward, each step towards their table, a new scar that I bear. We make it to the table. Small talk begins. Names are exchanged. I instantly forget both of their names, but I remember how I introduced myself to them. I extended my hand for a handshake like I'm conducting a fucking business meeting. Oh yes, ladies, I'll need the stock reports on my desk, 8 a.m. sharp. But the worst part of this gesture is when they do oblige my handshake, I kung fu grip them. I grab their hands hard as shit. It's like that scene in The Predator where Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers get in a handshaking competition. Oh, they got you pushing too many pencils. Well, I was pushing too much awkwardness right from the get-go. So yeah, suboptimal start, bit of a rocky beginning. Chalk that one up to nerves though, you know, that's excusable. So my friend's sister starts distracting one of the girls. Oh, do you go to UT too? What sorority are you in? This and that. Working under the assumption that I am not a bumbling goober and can handle a one-on-one conversation with the other girl. Rookie mistake. I absolutely could not handle that in any capacity. It was abysmal. I have no doubt. I can say with confidence that it is the worst conversation she had ever been a part of, and probably to this day is still the worst conversation she has ever been a part of. With each sentence that I diarrheaed out, I could feel it getting more and more uncomfortable for the both of us. So, do you like alcohol? I mean, it's a good beverage. Envelope adhesives, how do they keep those damn things together? You know, some strong shit. Oh, this is some nice shoes. I like shoes. I wear shoes sometimes, too. I don't wear shoes when I sleep, though. I take shoes off when I sleep. I'm not weird. I don't take the shoes. It was fucking miserable. And this continues for about 15 or 20 minutes. I don't know how she resisted the urge to just puke in my face, but she just let me keep going. I'm just over here hooting and hollering about our universe being a simulation or some shit. And then eventually she gets so bored, and I'm confused because I'm having a conversation with myself in my head, and I'm having one with her. So I was just, by the end of it, I didn't know if I was talking to myself or talking to her. It was just a weird situation altogether. But she gets so bored, and she puts the kibosh on it. She says, "Look, I've been having a shit week, and I just want to go home with a guy tonight, okay?" And then she puts her hand on my hand. And then I looked her in the eyes. We locked eyes for a minute. And I said to her, "Well, you're going to have to hurry up because the bar's clearing out. I wish you the best of luck finding a guy, but if you don't find one, I'll eat your pussy for a little bit if you want." That is verbatim what I said to her in response to that. I could never forget those words. They're burned into my brain. The second those escaped my mouth, I became sober. I was inebriated going into it. I said that, and then I could have flown a fucking plane at that point. I could feel my asshole pucker. My anus was becoming the universe. It was like every cell in my body was being bludgeoned by a cactus. For me, this was proof that whatever higher power or creator exists, they truly don't care about this world. Because if they did, they would have sent a fucking wild ice cream truck to take me out right then and there. And the look on her face, I will never forget it. It was a look of pure shock, confusion, and anger. Every emotion a human is capable of feeling, she felt in that moment. And then she pretended to get a phone call so she had an excuse to leave. That makes her a good person in my book, because what she should have done is say, "Hey, get the fuck away from me, you creepy homunculus," or something to that effect, because that's what I deserved. She was nice enough to actually make it seem like she just had something else to do instead of just telling me to fuck off, which she absolutely had a right to do because she had just put up with my ranting and raving for 20 minutes, and then I basically just rejected her to her face with my last little humdinger there. So to me, that woman is a hero. Now to make matters even worse though, my friend's sister and the girl's friend heard what I said. It's like the music in the bar just cut out and everyone stopped talking right before I uttered those words. But luckily, she never mentioned it because I'm assuming she erased it from her memory immediately after, so that way she would spare her mind the anguish of trying to comprehend what the fuck I was thinking when I said that. But yeah, so that's the story. It was by far the most uncomfortable situation I'd ever been a part of and created. I mean, I did both. I was both the participant and the orchestrator. So it was weird. But yeah, that's the story. That's it. See ya. Yeah, it's that magical time again where Grandpa Charlie comes over, sets you on his lap, asks you what you want for Christmas, ignores it, and tells you old war stories. Today I wanted to take you on a journey, a spiritual quest through the content I posted online when I was 15 years old, when I was just a boy coming into his own, a coming-of-age story of Charles when I was still just coming to terms with the fact that I might not get any taller. And I found some of it today, which put a big smile on my face, and I wanted to share it. Now, as I've said, I've made a couple videos on this, and in those videos I told you all that I made this channel when I was 11. On this channel I had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos that I deleted both out of embarrassment and out of fear, because a lot of the stuff I uploaded was like music from unsigned rappers like Soulja Boy before he had a label. I used to post his songs on my channel way back then. And stuff like that, and I made montages using really popular music, and I was worried about getting striked for the DMCA. So I lit the whole library on fire and pissed on the ashes. I removed hundreds of videos, and I still regret it to this day. I'm still shaking my fist, cursing the day that my prepubescent mind decided that this was the proper course when dealing with a potential threat of DMCA. When my video got picked up by Ray William Johnson, the Q-Op video, I panicked. I thought like all of a sudden my channel was going to be on the radar of like music industry hitmen. I thought there was going to be like assassins coming for me because I used a Breaking Benjamin song in one of my Gears of War montages, so I just fucking blasted all of those things out of existence. And to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if there are assassins that the music industry sends against 12 and 11-year-olds for music, but I really do wish I just privated the videos instead of just outright removing them, because I have still not found a way to get those back. Hopefully YouTube still has it somewhere, but I have no idea how to access it. But anyway, what I did find isn't those videos that I removed, but I found some of my old Justin TV live streams. That's how long I've been doing fucking content on the internet. I used to stream on Justin TV pretty often. I'd say like 3-4 times a week, and I was around 15 at that time. And brother, let me tell you what, these are some of the finest live stream clips you'll ever see. As God is my witness, I make the claim that these are potentially the best live streaming clips to ever survive the Justin TV purge.
Shit, I'm the last one. Critical. We can do. Oh shit, 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 oh shit, shit. Ah! Damn it! I ran out of ammo. Ah! Split the defense. Split the defense. Hustle play. Go critical. Buy something. Shit, I bought the same damn gun. I hate this fucking gun. Shit. I did it! Holy shit! Oh, Jesus. Alright, I'm back. Okay, what's going on here? Alright, who wants to tell me where to go?
Now that second clip, I know you're going to need to cool down after all that adrenaline coursing through your veins after such a high-octane Paper Mario stream there, asking the chat to just guide me through it. How naive I was to think the chat had any fucking idea how to play the game, or really any game they backseat on. So, this is the only 2 surviving clips I could find of my Justin TV streaming career. I only streamed for like the first half of 2010 and maybe late 2009, I don't quite remember, but I streamed like Luigi's Mansion, a whole bunch of old school games. And I'd really love to see some more of those, but they don't exist anymore unless Justin himself somehow kept the records from my old channel there. But for those that don't know, Justin TV was the predecessor to Twitch. Before Twitch, there was Justin TV. I remember when I was streaming on there, the most popular streams were like 200 viewers for Angry Video Game Nerd 24/7 streams, and also a channel called 4Player Podcast. And other than that, it was mainly just channels like mine, where it was like 10, 15 viewers, just playing a bunch of games in almost unrecognizable quality, so you didn't even know what the fuck you were looking at. It looked like snuff films or footage of Bigfoot. But that was just kind of the fun of it. It was just a crazy, wild time for the entire internet when it came to content creation. Now we're in luck, because I got a fucking double whammy here. I'm coming in with both fists. I also found my old GameFAQs posts. Now, as I've said on the podcast, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about it in videos before, when I was first starting to create content using like my voice and narrating stuff, I came up with this series called Fun Tactics, and it was for Battlefield Bad Company 2 as well as other games, but Bad Company 2 is where it really started with making commentary videos. And I used to post every video from the Fun Tactics series on GameFAQs, because at the time, GameFAQs was the most popular forum for gamers. This was like the hub of gaming. Like if you had gamer gunk in your veins, if you were an ultimate turbo gaming warlord, you were on GameFAQs writing shitty guides and participating in arguments there. It was like Reddit, but without everyone pretending to be super genius, MODOK, masterminds, supreme intelligence overlords. And it was just such a nice trip down memory lane seeing all this, because I thought GameFAQs had wiped all of their old shit from their old unused boards, but I guess for some reason these fossils have survived, which is great to see. Nowadays, GameFAQs isn't as popular as it used to be. I think there's only like 4 or 5 active users anymore. I really don't know. I don't know who's still using GameFAQs or what for, maybe to buy and sell drugs, but I haven't really heard anyone talk about it in a long time. But I gotta tell you, going back and visiting it feels so good. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these bad boys. Here they are in all their glory, all of these incredible fun tactics posts. Oh, goodness gracious, still the best fire to ever drop on the Bad Company 2 GameFAQs board, I would say. Now, I scrolled through a lot of these reading some of the comments because I was looking for one guy in particular, and I talked about it on the podcast. I had like an arch nemesis in here, like the Thanos to my Avengers. His name was Boney Tony. I'll never forget his name. He would insult the fuck out of me every time I posted one of these, but I couldn't find him in any of these threads. I don't know if like he removed his account or removed the post or something, but I couldn't find any of them anymore. So I don't know what happened there. I guess maybe there was like a truce at some point that I forgot about, but man, I still remember he would insult my voice, which is why in one of the videos I was talking about how it's my real voice and I'm not afraid to be confident in the way that I sound. And then there's this post right here, episode 5. This was a very controversial one. So when I made this advanced spotting technique, people did not like it. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know people were really upset because I wasn't actually helping the team at all. I was just kind of standing still and just making a mockery of it. And I gotta fucking tell you, they held my feet to the fire. I was thrown to the wolves, it felt like. They did not like the video, and I felt terrible. I felt horrible. I removed it and came up with a different fun tactic the next day. It was rough. They were eating my asshole for lunch. I wish I could see the video, because like I said, I don't actually remember what I did in it. If I had to guess, I imagine I was using like a tracker dart and shooting a teammate, maybe? Because at the time, I know I hated recon players that just camped in a bush sniping. So I guess probably what I would have done is just taken the tracker and shot my own teammate with it so that way the enemy could see them, which would make sense with the title, but I don't know for sure. I'm just spitballing because that sounds like something I would have done in Bad Company 2 back then. That would be my guess. But yeah, anyway, that was definitely the most controversial fun tactic video I ever made, and just seeing these posts again is such a fucking joy. It's just, man, what a crazy time on the internet back then. I think this is every surviving artifact from my early days on the internet that I could find. I really do hope at some point I can get access to the old deleted YouTube videos I had, because fuck, I want to see those so badly. I had AMVs and shit, I had montages, I had 1v1s, it was fuck, I really want to see all that shit again. And there were boner jams galore in those videos. I had boner jam after boner jam in those montages, and I don't remember a lot of those songs. So I'd like to hear those songs again too, like shit. I mean, hopefully those still exist somewhere on like some dusty old crusty ass YouTube server somewhere that I can eventually get access to, but for now, can't find them, and I just wanted to share this shit with all of you because I thought it was a really cool trip down memory lane and just a little journey to the past. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah. I've told many stories about my embarrassing past, specifically about my freshman year of college, where I tried to completely reinvent myself, and I decided to model my new personality after anime protagonists. I went into the Oblivion character creator and set the slider all the way to cringe. Leaving high school, I was socially shy and I wanted a big change, so I went through this metamorphosis to be born again as a social butterfly, and I chose to emulate mysterious anime protagonists, because I thought it'd help me come out of my shell and people would love it. But honestly, I'm surprised it didn't land me in a cell, a padded cell at Arkham Asylum, because I was an absolute fucking weirdo. I have no doubt the students around me probably thought I was a potential threat to the campus. But anyway, I saw this clip today from a new college freshman being interviewed, and it's clear to me that he tried to do something similar to what I did, and it was like looking in a mirror.
For the month of February, we have our new Poet Spotlight, and for this month, we've chosen a new student who calls himself Claimer. His name is almost as much of a mystery as the things he carries around in his pocket. From his Shakespearean dialogue to his plaid jacket, this kid is probably one of the biggest characters you will meet on campus.
The way they intro Claimer here sounds like some kind of quirky uncle from an old fairy tale. His name is almost as much of a mystery as the things he carries around in his pocket. Also, I'm just gonna go ahead and spill the beans here. If you're described as being a character, most of the time it's not a good thing. Being called a character is just a nicer way of being called fucking strange, and not in like an endearing way, but a way where it's difficult to come up with a real compliment, so they're just like, what a character.
Let's get some details from him and some of his friends.
probably the thing I like the most about Claimer is that he's not afraid to show his unabashed oddities. The thing that make Claimer who Claimer is.
When watching his friends be interviewed, I just got the feeling that they were very uncomfortable with it. So I thought perhaps Claimer had kidnapped their family and was threatening them like, listen, you're going to mention my oddities and how cool they are, or else. It just feels like he's behind it, like he's still pulling the strings.
For instance, his jacket that he wears all the time. I'd like to call it the coat of many pockets because it has so many pockets and each one of them is filled with just the randomest crap you could find. Like he has a bag of metal wrapped in a Norwegian flag. How do you explain that? That's only something I can imagine Claimer doing.
I can easily explain that actually. He's going for a RAR XD so random approach to living his life. This video is about 10 years old, so it's certainly more popular then. Like, that's half of the shit I used to do in my old gameplay commentary videos, is just combine random shit like tongue of elephant, cum, butthole, wiener. And Claimer has taken that energy and put it into his pocket. I really also feel as though this man is trying to remember lines that Claimer was feeding him. Like he had some kind of bug in his ear and he had Claimer on the horn like, listen, talk about my coat. It's the coat of many pockets, which is a banger name. His proficiency in naming things cannot be understated. That shit slaps. He calls it the coat of many pockets because it has so many pockets. It sounds like some kind of treasure out of Harry Potter.
He carries a rubber chicken in his pocket, tarot cards, scrap of metal. I always feel safe walking with him in Uptown.
Why would you feel safe walking around with him? It sounds like he is the danger. He's got a fucking rubber chicken, a metal pocket, tarot cards. This man is ready for a spiritual war to break out at any moment and engage in some kind of paranormal battle. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a JoJo stand with him too. You should not feel safe around him because he could be attacked by assassins at any moment and you might get caught in the crossfire. Also, why exactly would that make you feel safe in any capacity? Let's just say there's a ne'er-do-well that approaches both of you with a knife and he's like, give me all your money in the wallet. And you're with Claimer. How the fuck is Claimer going to protect you with the things he has in his pocket? What, he's going to get out the rubber chicken and start honking it at him and scare him like a dog? Like, what is he supposed to do? Get out his tarot card and be like, wait, I just drew the death card. You're dead now. Like, how would this at all make you feel safe? I guess maybe his metal pocket, if he took out the metal and threw it at the guy, it could hurt. But it's still not enough to keep you safe.
I'm here with new freshman, Claimer, and you're in the play, right?
Indeed.
How is that going?
Well, it's going chillfully thus far. I'm not, it's a little soon to tell, but I'm feeling good about it.
The man, the myth, the legend, we get to hear from the real Claimer in the flesh. The benevolent deity on college campus who's keeping everyone safe with his coat of many pockets. I love the way he starts this. He immediately goes into like an indeed, like Heimerdinger from League of Legends, and then he's trying to put on a very interesting performance here.
What's your role in the play?
I play Elvis. Indeed.
Tell us about that character.
It's Elvis Presley, the famous 50s, 60s, and 70s person.
And what more really needs to be said about Elvis Presley? Claimer is playing him and doing him justice. In fact, I would argue that Claimer is a better Elvis Presley than Elvis was himself. Now, I really do see a lot of my old self in this guy, and for what it's worth, I looked up what Claimer's doing these days, or at least tried to because this video is so old, and from what I can tell, he's actually been in a couple of movies, and it seems like he's a good sport about this whole thing, so all power to him. This is definitely one of those things that you look back on and you're like, oof, yikes, wish I didn't do that. That's certainly how I feel about my freshman year. It's even kind of similar to some of the mannerisms I tried back then, where you're just like constantly smoldering at every opportunity. He's channeling an anime villain persona here, where he's like intellectually above everyone else on like a different plane, like, oh, yes, I am playing Elvis, the 50s, 60s, 70s famous person, and it is going chillfully. Absolutely, yes, of course.
The singer, songwriter, that sort of thing.
Now, Claimer, you're famous for your unique way of talking. We were just wondering how you developed this eloquent way of speaking.
Oh my. Well, I'm not entirely sure, actually. It just sort of happened. And I enjoyed it, and I just sort of stuck with it. The end.
He's going through such a wide range of emotions right now and conveying it all through so many different facial expressions. It's like playing LA Noire and trying to figure out if the person sitting across from you is lying or not. Like, he's striking so many poses. He's basically spamming Fortnite emotes, but with his face. I also get the impression that he's a bit nervous here for this interview. So when asked why does he speak like a Shakespearean villain about to reveal their plan, he doesn't really give an in-depth answer. He just basically says, "Oh my, well, I did it because I liked it, and I wanted to."
All right, so we spoke to some of your friends, and they spoke a lot about some of the things you have in your pocket.
All good things, I trust.
Would you be willing to show us some of those things?
Well, since you asked so nicely, let's do it.
Perfect.
First off, we have my medal pocket, which is tied up in a Norwegian flag
Okay.
because I felt like it. We have, all sorts of different things here. First off, we have the thing that breaks the rule, a rock.
His pockets have their own rules. Man's got a perpetual domain expansion inside of himself, and he's able to bend the rules at his will. So in his metal pocket, he immediately pulls out a fucking rock. That's power. If any of you have been around the channel for a while, you'll remember a story I told about how I wanted to wear a Psychonauts disc, like the Xbox disc, around a chain and wear it around my neck. And that I also wanted to be carrying around decks of playing cards in my pockets so I could do magic tricks for women to try and impress them. That's the same energy I get from this guy's metal pocket. Like, he's just having that shit clank around going throughout the day, and maybe it piques someone's interest. Like, brother, what do you got in your pocket there? You carrying around a little Transformer and Autobot? What's all that metal banging going on? He's like, well, I'm cheerfully glad you asked, good sir. Let's take a peek at what's in this mysterious pocket. You know, one of those things. He sounds like the potion seller guy from that viral meme. It's very, like, it makes me feel like I'm back in my freshman year of college, because I was one step away from doing this same kind of shit. The only reason I never wore that Psychonauts disc or had my playing cards in my pockets is because Kaya told me it'd be a fucking terrible idea. So he saved me from being interviewed in a similar way and having that exist online forever.
This is a piece of an airplane. Oh, that would be just fine. This is a piece of a pocket watch.
Pocket watch?
Indeed. This is a piece of a gate.
A gate.
This is a car door.
Okay.
Peace sign.
Peace sign.
Indeed. Round thing.
So you carry all these things around in your pocket?
Yeah. Other round thing.
Unfortunately, he doesn't reveal the lore behind each piece of metal in that pocket. I bet each piece tells its own unique story, and he just didn't have time for it in the interview. I also wonder what the process is like for adding metal to that collection, because you can probably find metal all over the place. I wonder how picky he is. There's got to be some kind of intense process, but he doesn't really describe it very well either. Like, he just pulls out two things and calls it round thing. Imagine it did get really interesting though, like, this piece of metal comes from the Apollo spacecraft. This piece of metal's actually got a little bit of bone fragment on it because this was the bullet that pierced John F. Kennedy. Like, that'd be kind of cool. Then that metal pocket would have a lot of great value.
Do they ever come in handy?
Usually not. If it comes in handy, it goes in my other pockets.
Okay.
My regular pockets. These are just I enjoy them for the novelty of it, don't you know?
Nothing puts me into a state of bliss, euphoria even, than hearing someone drop a "don't you know." That is fire. But it's a good explanation. You know, I like to carry these things in my pockets because I enjoy them. Fair enough. You'll get no argument from me, don't you know?
Now, you had a situation where you actually got stopped by the police, and they saw some of the things in your pocket. What did they say?
Well, first off, they weren't going to search me, but my metal pocket clanked against the car door, so they asked me to empty out all of my pockets. And one thing I carry around is a deck of tarot cards and some other things, I guess, that are strange. So while they were making the report, this was a verbatim quote. We've got an 18-year-old Caucasian male, driver's license number, my driver's license number. He's some sort of witch doctor.
Those disrespectful fools didn't even realize who they were dealing with. This is no witch doctor. This is clamor. And I'm sure they weren't prepared for the 30-minute process that ensued when they asked him to empty his pockets. I bet that shit just kept coming out like a clown that was pulling the rope from his mouth or whatever. Like, that shit probably dragged on for so long, the cops probably just got bored and left. They're like, listen, buddy, it's not that big of a deal. Just go about your day, pick up your shit, put it back in your pockets. Oh my god. But that's where the interview ends, but I've still got many questions for Claimer that may never be answered. Like I said, this is one of those things that really reminds me of myself, because to me, it feels like Claimer went into college trying to stand out from the crowd, come out of his shell, similar to me. We just chose different paths. I went with the mysterious anime character, so I basically didn't talk at all, which was absolutely the more alarming approach to things, and Claimer went down the Shakespearean, wise sage. And I just wanted to show this a little bit because it really did put me back in my freshman year of college when I first saw this. Like, damn, this was me, like 100%. We cut from the same cloth. But anyway, just wanted to share this. That's about it. So yeah. It's been a little while since I told the story, so I figured it was about time that I sit you all down by the campfire and put some fear in your boners. I'm going to tell you a really recent story, something that I think everyone can take a lesson away from and use it in their everyday lives. So before I really dig into the meat of this, I want to preface this by saying I have not pissed my pants in a very long time. Now that that's off the table, let's get into what the story is about. As you've probably surmised from that intro, it's about pee-peeing in the pants. It's about a time where I flirted with that devil. And this all takes place in the mythical year of 2019 AD on October 4th. It was literally 6 days ago as of recording this video. It was right before going to happy hour, and if you watch my streams at twitch.tv/moistcritical, you know that the streams are fucking bangers, and that I also pee a lot. I drink a lot of water, which means I'm constantly expelling a lot of urine from my body at jet stream-like pace. I really fucking pressure wash my toilet when I get in there to do that business, so if urinating is considered a game of chess, then I'm the goddamn grandmaster. Now, this was right before going to happy hour. I had just gotten all dressed up and spruced up, ready for action, and we needed to pick my friends up before going to the bars we were going to. But before going, I had the little inkling of a pee-pee coming on. It was still brewing, but it hadn't matured yet. So I figured there really wasn't any point to doing that. The bars weren't far, my friends weren't far. I'd just hold it till I got there and then just do my business out there in public. Just kind of to assert my dominance, like, hey, I'm not afraid to mark a urinal with my seal of approval. I'm not afraid to stamp this with my penis juice. So I just wanted to wait. I didn't see the point in going before heading over. That being said, on the journey to my friend's place, it was still very tame, very manageable, barely even noticed it. Got to my friend's place, didn't notice it. The second they got in my car, it's like they unleashed the piss demon. All of a sudden, all at once, it hit me like a fucking brick. Like a train had left the station, a bullet train, and it was hitting my bladder. There was no putting this genie back in the bottle. I was going to tinkle, it was just a matter of where. In my nice trousers, in a dirty bathroom somewhere on the way, or on the side of the road. The last two options weren't exactly options, because to get to the bar you had to go over this pretty long bridge, and there was no way I was going to be able to hold it through the duration of the bridge, so I'd be just trapped like a prisoner in its cell in the car, just urinating all over my friends. Or I'd have to hold it and literally cork my cock, and I'd probably fucking drown internally with urine pouring out of my mouth like I just swallowed a cyanide capsule of urine. It was just a nightmarish situation because I really had to go. So I informed Tiana, who was now driving, and I told my friends, look, I'm sorry to be an inconvenience, but we got to pull over somewhere to go to the bathroom because I'm going to literally ruin our happy hour and turn it into the not so happy hour by coating this entire car in piss. So they understood, but the problem was there really wasn't anywhere to stop. There was no real gas stations on the way to the bridge, so we'd have to go out of our way to find one for me, and my friends didn't really want to do that, so they're trying to encourage me to just go piss somewhere next to a dumpster around some of the dilapidated buildings, because the area on the way to the bar looks like it's been hit by a nuclear missile, but I didn't want to take that chance, because a friend of mine got put on the sex offenders registry for public urination. He got caught while peeing next to a building or on the side of a building. And I just didn't want to roll those dice at all. I bet if I had just went down to take a piss by a building, a fucking cop would have popped out of a bush in a ghillie suit and said, "Gotcha" on me. I didn't want to, risk that at all. I'd drop trow for 1 second, just unzip, and all of a sudden a police car fucking drift in sideways, just sirens blaring, and then take me down just for public urination. And then all of a sudden, bang, I'm a sex offender. I just didn't want to risk that at all. I didn't want to take that chance at all, so that was not an option for me. We were going to go out of our way to one of the gas stations that I knew of, and it wasn't that far out of the way, so it wasn't a huge inconvenience, but I still felt bad. Unfortunately, the gas stations were of no help, and also the gas stations look like something straight out of the Fallout universe as well. But the first gas station we go to, everything looks okay. There's a bathroom there, which is a plus. It's one of the bathrooms that's on the outside, so you need a key to get into it. So all confidently, while I'm basically grabbing my cock, just trying to keep everything where it needs to be before I explode with urine, I go in there waddling in and I say to the guy, "Hey, look, I've got to use your shitter. Can I get the key to that bad boy?" And he's not all there. He sounds like he's one Xanax bar away from just total overdose and collapse. So I couldn't understand most of the words he said, but he kept mumbling about the hot dog man. I didn't know what that meant. I thought he was making idle conversation. Maybe there was a hot dog vendor outside that he wanted me to go buy from before he gave me the key. I didn't know, so I asked him, "What are you talking about? The hot dog man? Who's a hot dog man? I love hot dogs, even though I fucking hate hot dogs." Just anything to get that fucking key. Felt like it was a mission in a video game that I needed to get that key to complete the quest. But so I'm making this small talk, and his answers make no sense to me. He's like, "No bathroom, hot dog man." So then I'm starting to connect these dots in my head. Okay, so the hot dog man, no bathroom. Hot dog man must have gone in there and wreaked havoc. He must have just fucking tore that bitch down and lit it on fire with an explosion from his ass or something. So this bathroom is decommissioned is what you're telling me, right? Bathroom is not working because of hot dog man. He just shakes his head, "No, hot dog man." I felt like I was in a goddamn horror movie, as if the hot dog man was terrorizing this area like the fucking Slender Man. I didn't know what he was talking about with the hot dog man. All I knew was I was not getting that key from him. So I walked out all disappointed because I knew I wasn't getting the key, and it's all because of this menace, the hot dog man, who I'd never even fucking heard of in fairy tales. So I had to waddle back to the car disappointedly, and even in more of a rush, the sense of urgency was overwhelming. Felt like the entire universe was collapsing inside on me. Also, as a side, there was no hot dog vendor outside. There wasn't even the remnants of what could have been a hot dog vendor at any point in time. So I don't know who the fuck this hot dog man is. But anyway, we go up another maybe mile up the road where I know another gas station is, and it's just as decrepit as this one. And this one was like a goddamn orgy of weirdos. There was one guy who I am 100% sure was on spice, because he was just fucking fumbling around. Luckily, he had hit just enough spice so he wasn't totally nude and dragging his dick on the floor, but he was at that level of spice where he can't really stand up properly, and he has a football that he's throwing against a wall and hitting himself with in the face off the rebound. So that's the kind of place we were at looking for this bathroom, and I knew it was going to be gross, and I'm a bit of a germaphobe, but I was throwing that aside because I needed to be strong, because I didn't want to piss myself, because I hadn't pissed myself in at least a long time. I don't know. I was trying to think of an exact time I pissed myself, but it's been a long fucking time. I have a pretty clean streak there, and I wasn't about to have that collapse on this night. So we get to this disgusting gas station, and it's another one where the bathroom's on the outside, so I need to go in to get the keys. There's a guy in there playing the lottery, and he's taking a long time scratching it off. That's fine. That's not his fault. He doesn't know that I'm about to explode behind him like an IED of urine. So I'm not mad at him at all. He was none the wiser, not his fault or anything. When he's finally done, I go up to the counter. I say, "Hey man, can I get the keys to that turbo shitter? I gotta go do some business over there." He's super cool about it, gives me the keys, and I'm on my way. The guy who's throwing the football now fixates his eyes on me, and he wants to get me involved in his game. I can tell because while he couldn't really get the words out properly, he was making motions like, "I'm gonna hit you with this spiral real quick, Tom Brady style," and I just... I'm putting my hands up like, "Please, no, thank you," politely. I've got to use the restroom. Finally get around the corner to where the bathrooms are on the side of the place. There's a man asleep on the curb in front of the bathrooms. I don't know if he was passed out or just really tired. Maybe at one point he was the gate guardian of the bathrooms, but now that he found bath salts, now he just sleeps there. I really don't know. But, I go... not over him because I was already on the side. I go around him, and then I finally put that key into the bathroom, and a sense of elation and jubilation just fills my whole body as I finally turn it, and I open it, and I'm greeted with the most unholy smell this world has ever concocted. It smelt like a fucking hate crime. It was the most repulsive, revolting smell I've ever smelt in my life, and I've smelt some shit. I've smelled some serious shit, but this was something else. This smelled like the hot dog man had gone there, killed somebody, and then took a shit all over the corpse. And it's really weird because the toilet itself was pristine. The toilet was clean enough to drink out of, eat off of. It was a fantastic looking toilet, not a speck of dirt or poopy in sight. But the bathroom itself was tainted with the remnants of 1,000 angry spirits that were all shitting in unison. It's no doubt the work of the hot dog man. There's not a single doubt in my mind. He must just be like a serial bathroom shitter. Just goes around shitting in all the bathrooms, fucking terrorizing them, ruining them for people that gotta pee like me. But I really don't know. Anyway, the smell was so overwhelming. For just a brief moment, I relaxed my penis sphincter, and a little bit of urine dripped onto my boxers. I don't count that as pissing my pants because it was just enough where it only dribbled out, and I was able to once again voluntarily collapse the muscle so it didn't squeak out anymore as I finally approached the toilet, and I finally released the sweet relief into the toilet, and I finally peed. I couldn't breathe. It was fucking hazardous to my health, no doubt, with all the shit particles floating around in the air, but god damn it, I finally peed. So the lesson to take away from here, just when you feel like even like the smallest amount of pee building inside of you, just piss. It's gonna get worse. You're gonna just need to pee. Don't try and hold it. Don't be a hero like I was, because you might find yourself in a similar situation where you dribble on yourself and you visit a really disgusting smelling bathroom that really just ruins your sense of smell for like a good 2 hours. But anyway, that's the story. The lesson to learn: pee when you feel like you have to, even a little bit. Don't try and hold it, because that is just absolutely devastating and leads to this domino effect of unfortunate circumstances and a lot of stress. That's it. So yeah. I don't know how many of you know this, but I actually have really bad motion sickness. If I ride in the passenger seat of a car for more than 5 minutes, I get a tummy ache, I start feeling yucky, like I want to puke. If I bend down to pick up like a dog toy too quickly, I'll get immediately sick. Like, my motion sickness is awful. But I wasn't always such a weak, fragile, tarnished specimen that I am today. And it's not something that just developed naturally. We all understand that aging is cringe. There's nothing more embarrassing than getting older. Because as you get older, things just start breaking down, shit doesn't work the way it used to. You know, it sucks. But I didn't develop motion sickness just because I started to become like a geriatric old man or anything. I can trace back the day I developed motion sickness, a day that changed my life. It was a day spent at a theme park with a friend of mine named Andrew, a friend that you probably know from YouTube as Hugbees of How It's Actually Made fame. Him and I have been friends for about a decade now, and back when I was around 18 or 19, we decided we'd have a little fun out in the sun for a day, and we took a trip to Busch Gardens, Tampa, Florida. For those that don't know, Busch Gardens is an amusement park, kind of like Universal Studios or Disney World. It's just like a giant theme park with roller coasters and shit. But the theme is Florida Man. And it's a pretty fun park, actually. I used to love Busch Gardens. They had all kinds of like weird and wacky foods back in the day. And I used the term food lightly. There was one spot in there that would sell basically just fried grease. Just like actual fried motor oil. So you just take a bite and it was just nothing but oil and grease that just blew up your mouth. I used to love that kind of shit, just little grease pops or whatever. Just a scrumptious little treat. One time I even saw a dude full-blown cranking his hog in the parking lot, just really jerking his meat, pretty tough out there. So Busch Gardens could get wild, but it was a park I always enjoyed going to. But the main appeal of Busch Gardens was roller coasters, as well as animals, because it kind of like doubled as a zoo. They had a lot of animals there, so there was a lot to do. It was a very interesting theme park. It still exists, I just don't go anymore. We'll get to that in a second. But the thing is, the main appeal of the park was thrill-seeking. It had some really cool roller coasters, especially for its size. Busch Gardens isn't like massive or anything, at least not compared to the big boys. It's a pretty small, relatively speaking, amusement park, but it had some dope-ass roller coasters, and I was an adrenaline junkie when I was younger. I used to love roller coasters. I used to think that shit was amazing. They had one at Busch Gardens called Montu, where it had you going like 90 miles per hour the entire time. Felt like you were traveling through different dimensions. Felt like I was Barry Allen about to turn back the clock on the world, going backwards in time. It was nuts. It was so fast, and I loved it. I used to be a huge roller coaster guy, and Andrew was too. And so when we went to Busch Gardens, Andrew had this great idea of riding like every roller coaster there twice or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was riding every roller coaster there an absurd amount of times, which to me wasn't anything uncommon because I'd done that before. Busch Gardens never really had huge lines or anything. It was never like Disney World where things had a 40, 50-minute wait. You could usually just line up and be on the ride within 10 minutes. So I used to ride roller coasters multiple times. Like SheiKra was their big one. It has like 90-degree drop and you just go straight to hell. It had a lot of big roller coasters and I'd ride them multiple times in a trip. So when Andrew pitched this idea of like, let's go absolutely fucking insano style, let's get outrageous today with the amount of roller coasters we were gonna do, I was like, yeah, I'm gung ho, I'm down. Let's get crazy, let's get wacky. Little did I know that decision was gonna change my life forever. So it's about 3 hours into the day. We've rode a ton of roller coasters, and we're still planning to ride more. And I, at this point, had never really experienced bad motion sickness. Occasionally, I would get, like, sick in a long trip in the car or something if I was trying to, like, read a book or whatever. But I never actually got motion sickness. And around this time, like, my stomach was feeling a little weird, so we got some food in order to try and, like, settle my stomach. Didn't really do much, but I didn't want to ruin the day, so we kept riding roller coasters. It kept getting worse. But then we decided to ride the wooden roller coaster. I think it was called Gwazi. It was this roller coaster made out of the oldest wood imaginable. I wouldn't be surprised if it was wood used on Davy Jones' ship back in the fucking 1400s or whatever. Just like this old driftwood, they made a roller coaster out of it, and it was cool. You definitely felt that sense of danger, like anything could happen. It could collapse at any moment. That shit looked like plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy. It wasn't like high quality wood. It was terrifying, but I liked the ride. Andrew liked the ride, and we rode it, I think, once or twice. I don't remember. But after riding it at either the second time or it might have even been the first time now, I don't remember, I got so unbelievably sick. I was stumbling out of the roller coaster exit. I didn't puke or anything. I couldn't puke. My body wouldn't let me. It was holding on to like any bit of nutrient or anything that it could. I was stumbling, falling over myself, like slurring my speech, telling Andrew like something's wrong here. And Andrew was like, no, I'll tell you what's wrong. It's called you being a pussy. We still have to ride Scorpion next. So I was like, yeah, he's probably right. That's probably what it is. I'm just suffering from a bit of sore butthole from being a sad piece of shit. So I was like, I was just following him the best I could, the Scorpion, while I'm very much struggling to keep my balance. We finally make it to Scorpion, which is another roller coaster. It's a really small one. It's like a 45-second roller coaster at most. And I was like, I can do it. I can muscle through this. So we're walking towards the entrance, and I fucking collapse. I fall to the ground onto my knees, and I'm fucking delirious from how sick I feel. Andrew was like mad at me. He's like, Charlie, you're ruining my day. What are you doing? Stop with this tomfoolery. This is childish. Pick yourself up. We got a roller coaster to ride. And I am struggling. I told him to like just ride it without me. Like, don't let me ruin your day. Go have some fun or whatever. And he's like, okay, I'll go ride it myself. So Andrew just fucking leaves me there on the actual pavement outside of a gift shop near Scorpion. I didn't make it all the way to the entrance. There's like a little gift shop on the way. And I'm just lying there, literally like almost face down. I'm on my knees, hunched over, and no one's even stopping to check on me. I'm sure employees could see me. I'm right outside of a gift shop. I am over there like clinging to life the best I can. The world is spinning. I am absolutely having a rough go of it. And I eventually do lay down, like full blown just lay down out there on the pavement. And I took a nap. I don't think I like blacked out or fainted or anything because I distinctly remember like putting my arm out and like laying down and going to sleep, hoping that when I wake up, Andrew would be off the coaster and I'd be feeling better. So I take a nap. I just KO for like, I don't know, however long it took Andrew to get there, maybe like 10 minutes. He wakes me up, probably thinking I was a corpse at this point, but no one even bothered to check. I mean, I guess it is Florida, so you shouldn't be surprised to see corpses just on the side of the road and I guess in amusement parks because no one bothered to look after me or make sure I was okay. So I'm just laying there. Andrew wakes me up, and luckily I did feel a little bit better, and he had enough of his roller coaster rides for the day. He's like, okay, we can just go now. So we left, and later that night I started feeling better, but what happened as a result was a lifelong change. I developed severe motion sickness from that. I never really had bad motion sickness before that day, but afterwards, I got it bad and still do have it bad. I can't ride roller coasters anymore at all. I can't even ride like the kiddie coasters. I get sick if I try and like skateboard a little too fast or like try and do like quick movements on the basketball court or something, I'll make myself really dizzy and feel yucky. Like I said, riding in a car for like more than 5 minutes as a passenger, I get sick feeling. Driving doesn't really trigger it for me, but when I'm a passenger in the front or back, I just start to get sick just when we're moving for too long. And all because of one day at an amusement park where a friend of mine and I decided we're going to ride a lot of roller coasters and go crazy. So yeah, I just wanted to share this story because I recently got reminded of it by Andrew. He brings it up like once every year, just like, hey Charlie, remember when we went to Busch Gardens that one time? Now you can't ride roller coasters anymore. Yeah, it kind of fucking sucks, doesn't it? I was actually riding a roller coaster like 2 months ago. Yeah, you would have loved it. So he brings it up occasionally and it reminds me, and I just thought I'll share the whole story here and maybe someone can learn something from it. Like, hey, don't push yourself too hard, right? You don't want to go too hard in the paint. Maybe just, play it a bit easy. Listen to your body. Nature will tell you what needs to be done. Maybe you don't need to ride a roller coaster 100 times in a day. So yeah, that's about it. See ya. When you look at me, the first thing you probably think to yourself is, man, this guy likes to party. This looks like a guy who's not only super tall, but also breathes life into any hootenanny that he attends. And you'd be right to a certain extent. I used to enjoy the old shindig back in college. I'd go out pretty often. And I saw a video today that reminded me of an extremely sad and embarrassing tale that I haven't thought of in a long time. So I'd like to show you the video that brought about this Winter Soldier episode within me, and then go over the video as well as this story that I'd like to tell.
Joe Burrow! Joe Burrow! You didn't even come close.
That's where the video ends, but I imagine he ran down the stairs, ran behind the house, started crying, and then just buried himself. Just fucking died there. It was so sad to see a man super excited to be getting tossed a beer. The local frat dudes were like, hey, this guy needs a fucking brewski. So they, fucking Amazon primed one. Now, it wasn't a great throw. That was definitely not a Joe Burrow caliber toss. And it nearly killed the guy. Fucking sent him over the rails for it. Because that guy was thirsty, right? And the only thing that quenched that thirst was butt chugging a Miller Lite across the street. So yeah, dude went ass over face, falling off the balcony, then hitting the deck and flopping like a fish down below. I'm gonna go ahead and toss this instant replay up on the Jumbotron, because I'm pretty sure this man exploded midair, like Mr. Potato Head. Just bits and pieces flying all over the place. His hat just got blasted off. I'm pretty sure he lost both of his shoes there. The G-forces damn near tore his clothes off as well. He was almost butt-ass naked by the time he hit the ground. Like, I don't know what went wrong, but there's just like so many clothing items that get lost on the small fall. But anyway, this brought out a repressed memory deep within me. It's something I haven't thought about in a while, and it made me very yucky feeling. I just cringed and thought it'd be something worth sharing with all of you before I once again locked that away forever, never to think about it again. This happened back in college before I retired from partying. I now no longer believe in fun at social gatherings, I guess. I just don't really party or anything anymore. And it was one of the first parties I had went to after getting to college. And I didn't really know anyone, of course, and I had already established myself as the weird, mysterious anime character, so I'm sure people had recognized me as a fucking psychopath before going to this party. So the fact that I showed up there probably already made people uncomfortable. I would have been in my sophomore year here, I imagine. I can't quite remember, but it was one of the first parties I went to, and that was like the only time I started going out. So I'm at this party, it's a house party, and there's a pool. They have a keg, they even have like a live band performing inside. It was just some like butt rock band that I'm assuming the members were students at the school. It was going all out, and as the night continued, I didn't really interact with many people, pretty much anyone aside from Andrew, who I went with. And, it wasn't getting a whole lot done, I wasn't drinking that much or anything, but towards the end of the night, as people started getting a bit sloppy, they started doing beer-catching trick shots. And it was cool. And I, at this point, thought, this is my chance. This is my time to shine. I can stand out and make friends by being the guy that makes a cool beer catch. Even though I'd never, caught a fucking Mach 5 thrown beer, because they were going hard. They're doing, behind the back tosses, behind the back catches, and just fucking throwing that shit as hard as they possibly can and seeing if someone can catch it. And I was like, this is it. This is how I finally make a name for myself here. And one of the tricks that they did that I thought would be, my time to hop in is they were doing it over the pool. So they were doing like cool between the leg tosses over the pool, and someone would go in, do like a 360 and catch it before hitting the water. Then they'd come out, pop it open, and chug it like stone cold. They didn't shotgun it, so kind of pussy shit, if I do say so myself now. Hindsight's 2020. But anyway, I thought, this is it. I know I can front flip into this pool. I knew I could do it, and I thought it'd be the coolest thing those eyes had ever seen. I thought everyone would be like uproariously cheering me, going wild, like, holy fuck, this dude just front flipped into the pool and caught a beer. I was running through this fantasy in my head. I was like, yep, this is how I do it. I'm gonna be the coolest fucking dude on campus. So I teed up at the end of the pool, I'm queuing up, I'm ready. Everyone's still around the pool, cheering on cool catches, booing misses, and I knew that this was my time to shine. No one's paid any attention to me up until this point. No one is looking at me on the end of the pool there. So in order to get their attention, I start like clapping, like, hey, I'm ready. Toss me the pigskin. Give me the rock. I'm ready. Feed me. So I'm clapping, trying to get like their attention. The dudes that are tossing the beers, like setting up the trick shots. And then eventually one of them does look at me. And without a second thought, the second we lock eyes, I just do a front flip into the pool, barely, mind you, and I have my arms straight up, and I don't finish the whole rotation, so I end up on my ass with my hands up in the air, and no one throws a beer. So I just fucking shittily front flip into the pool. It looks like I'm probably drowning, like a ship going down as the sail slowly keeps sinking, because my arms are above the water. I've already failed my front flip, so now I'm just sinking in shame. I pop up, there's no beer, and no one's even looking at me. I don't even get a boo. Nobody cared at all. It was the saddest fucking moment of my life. Like, if someone had just given me, like, a pity, woohoo, or, like, aw, something, I would have been like, okay, not all is lost. But I got literally nothing. Straight up crickets, and then some other dude did a trick shot into the pool, and they loved that. Meanwhile, the fucking socially inept turbo virgin on the other side gets fucking nothing. And I don't remember exactly what happened next, but I can't imagine we stayed much longer, because I do remember getting into the taxi soaking wet. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to air dry. I imagine what happened is Andrew felt my pain and was like, Charlie, let's get the fuck out. But I guess I just blacked out from cringe at that point, because I can't complete the story. I just remember that, and man, it was sad. So yeah, this video really brought that demon back, brought that evil out of me, and I just wanted to share it with all of you, because I don't want to think about it again past this point. So yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. You ever watch a video that just makes you feel nostalgic? It feels like you transport back in time. That's what happened to me today. It felt like Jimmy Neutron had built a time travel device that took me back to the most embarrassing era of my life. My first year and a half of college. This was the real goofy goober era of my life, where I tried to emulate a mysterious anime character and was just genuinely creepy and uncomfortable to be around. I have no doubt my fellow peers were reporting me to the student body as just someone to be aware of as a potential threat. It was scary. Like, it was such a bad idea. I was built on awful Reddit advice and delusion of anime characters. I thought it'd be a good idea. I've talked about it at length before. And today I watched a video that served as a reminder of my shame. And this had to do with a couple of times I went to parties, which I've talked about a little bit. During this period, I did try and socialize to the best of my ability, and I'd argue I was the life of parties when I went out. And by that I mean I made people scared for their lives when I went out to parties. Let me show you a little clip of the video and then dive deep into what I mean. Yeah, so this lady's really busting it wide open on the dance floor here of this local dive bar. She's just going hog wild. I don't know if it's drug related or just the spirit of music has taken over, but she is transformed into the demon of dance. Her eyes are like glossed over, and thanks to the camera, they're like glow in the dark, so it's really intense. And she's throwing out all kinds of advanced maneuvers right there. That's like a million dance moves in 10 seconds. It's like she's trying to go for a high score combo in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 here. But what it reminded me of is how I used to act at like bars and parties back in the early college days, because there was a couple bars near our campus that didn't ID check. So we would go there and I'd try and do shit like this because I thought by trying to be the center of attention, it would be good in helping me get laid. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But I'd go fucking wild. I'd start popping and locking. It was like I was doing Wing Chun on invisible enemies. Because I didn't really know how to dance super well, but I kept trying. I'd hit like sloppy body waves and shit. And I made a video a while ago talking about how I tried to learn to breakdance to impress girls. So, I'd drop to the floor and hit them with like the 6-step shuffle or whatever. And of course, you know me, I'm famous for the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse dance hot dog. But I'd drop to the floor and just like get after it. Like this. Give them some of that shit. It's just, yep. A little out of breath already. It's been a while since I busted that bad boy out. But yeah, I'd just fucking serve it out on the dance floor there. And no one stopped me. Like my friends that I'd go with, they never told me it was a bad idea. Because I think they just liked laughing at it. So I spent like an hour doing this shit on the dance floor looking like I was on bath salts. And I never learned my lesson. So when I saw this video today, seeing her go after it like this, I was like, damn. It's like looking in a mirror 8 years ago. Watching her dance is like watching a dog with the zoomies, where they just start like running in circles and going crazy. I mean, hats off to her. Like the confidence to do this and really just go wild at it, I think is fantastic. I always enjoyed doing it back in college, even though I know it made me look very odd to most people, but I still did find it to be enjoyable at the very least. But goddamn, the people next to her are gonna be leaving this bar with scars. The way she's whipping her hair like that shit is an actual weapon. That's some like actual Bayonetta shit, using her hair for offensive attacks. This right here is my favorite moment in the routine. I definitely think this would win So You Think You Can Dance. She hits him with like the praying mantis up here, and then into like a T-Rex arm combo. It's very rare you see a move like that executed so fluidly. So I thought she did a wonderful job there, and I really think it just helped put a nice bow on the entire choreography here. Unfortunately, that's where the video ends, but I'm sure the dancing continued for a couple hours there. She was definitely just getting started. This was only Act 1 of the performance. I think it's great all around. It seemed like she was having a good time. The people around her also seemed to enjoy the show. And I just wanted to talk about it because it reminded me of a silly time during my college days that I thought would be fun to share. That's really about it. I still think I'm one of the best dancers on the East Coast. And yeah, see ya.